reach, innovate, support, and engage. Rise.
My name is Ross Castleton. I'm the Warden of the Lincoln County Detention Center here in Carrizozo, New Mexico. You know, we're really lucky to have a program like this in our facility. It's a grant-funded program. We really, in corrections, have learned over the years that one of the most important things we can do is provide opportunities for people to make changes in their lives. You know, a lot of systems will just incarcerate people, lock them up and just wait for them to get out. With the RISE program, they really focus on engaging with the individual detainee and getting to know who they are and what they need. We tailor the program individually for each person. Maybe they need a GED or some education. And so the RISE program really works with them on some of those things, really kind of gives them some insight on why maybe they are incarcerated, and it gives them some insight on some things that they can do to change so that they don't have to keep coming back.
My name is Jeremias Terrazas, and I have training in behavioral psychology, and I'm also a case manager at CSG's Lincoln County Detention Center in Carrizozo, New Mexico. RISE, it's an acronym that stands for Reentry, Innovate, Support, and Engage. And it is a reentry program for detainees. We help with releases, support with groups and counseling, and case management work. Case management is to where they need to go, the resources that they need for when they're being released, which is very important, so that way they're not just thrown out and stranded or whatever it may be. And groups are very important on the other side of the same coin, because they're starting to program while being incarcerated. It's just a beautiful combination of the two. I want to ask you guys a couple of questions, and what we're going to do with Explore and Understanding is we're going to explore and understand ourselves as well, not just our partner. So I'm going to ask this in a series of questions. So on the first one, if you can put, how am I feeling? So we'll go ahead and write that down. We're going to do a worksheet together. We're all going to come up with an argument that we all share with our partners, and we're going to do it together, okay? So I can take one and pass it. So it's my job to make sure they are getting their application sent through. It's my job, if they are in the RISE program, that they get the clothes they need for release, housing, anything like that, for them to have support and feel the support.
I'm a 9. I'm going home Tuesday, as you know, so I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, now that I made the choice not to go to rehab and I made the choice to go home with my boyfriend, I have this fear of failure.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't want to mess up.
Just, if you want, you can stay in communication and give us a call. Give me a call if you need somebody just to talk to.
Okay.
The RISE program, man. And I think I tell you guys this all the time, like at least once a week. I tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys. You guys listen to us. That's the number one thing. You guys actually listen, even if it might be negative or something. It don't matter. It don't matter what we come at you with. You still sit down, look at us, take the time, and you guys listen. And that's probably the most important thing for a person that's locked up, is at the end of the day, we just need someone just to listen to us and hear us out, you know.
I have built this rapport with them, and I respect them and they respect me. So it is a lot more than just work. It is human encountering another human being who does need support. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to take that support. Some of them do take advantage. But when those folks who do take advantage or kind of take it for granted, I should say, they see the example of the others that are actually running with the program.
I'm Justin. I'm about a 7 court today. I'm very nervous about it, but figure out how long they have to come get me. Anyway, I spent my whole life trying to avoid conflict, and what happens is that'll build and build and build until it just becomes too much. Yep. And then when it becomes too much, that's when you get in trouble. That's when bad things happen. Yep. So, and I've learned throughout the years too, I would smoke pot to try to make myself feel better, and what that led to was not understanding how to have a serious conversation with somebody. Yeah. Because whenever I sit down to have a serious conversation, like, well, let me roll a blunt first, I go smoke, and I come back to it. Now I'm in a good mood, I'm happy, I don't even want to talk about it no more, but my girlfriend or whoever is like, no, we still have something to discuss. Yeah. And I don't understand how to be better from that. So now I tend to, like you said, come at conflict in a respectable manner. Yes. I will come at conflict now like, hey, can we have this conversation now, or do you want to wait? Absolutely. So I've learned from that.
I'm out of 10 because I got good news. So hopefully it's good news further than that good news. So I'm cool.
A continuation.
Yes.
Yes. And now we're going to get to the protect and defending part, all right? So 5, what are some other ways this has showed up for you? So in other words, what they're trying to ask is, why is this showing up for you? Did something in the past did a memory trigger something that made you behave this way to be protective and defensive of yourself and your kid? What might that be? Does that make sense? Abuse, there you go. It brought up horrible memories, You hear me say this a million times. It's literally that uncomfortable feeling, making that painful shift. Once you kind of get used to that, you realize things get better.
My name is Daniel Hernandez. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Roswell, New Mexico. I have lived a crazy life, you know what I mean? It's a long story, but when I was 13 years old, I went on the streets. My parents were real abusive. My dad was abusive, my mom was an addict too. I ran away from all that, and the cops were after me, being a runaway. But I slept in a tent, I had it's a spot in Roswell called the Pits. It's a bunch of dirt fields, and so that's where that was my home for about 2 years, until I was 15. When I was 15, I started hustling, stealing, and was able to get a house with somebody, to move in with somebody, I got a girl pregnant when I was 16. So once I found out I was gonna have a son, I decided to get a job, start working. I went back home, talked to my parents and stuff, and it didn't work out very long. So I was still 16. Went back on the streets and got a job this time. I didn't have my birth certificate or my social or anything, so these people that I met on the streets, they helped me out. I was working in a flower shop. But that was the only job I could get that was under the table, And then once my son was born, I got custody of all my brothers and sisters. There's 5 of them. I have 1 sister and 4 brothers. I gave my life to God, everything started going good. I was able to get a job doing heating and air conditioning, get my license. The kids were all going to school. Everything was, great. I watched them grow up, Some change of events happened in my life, and my little brother passed away. And I stopped giving everything to God, and lost everything. And then, so I went back to what I knew, went back on the streets. And then when I started doing dope when I was 26 years old, started doing dope. And I couldn't just do dope, I had to start selling dope. It's just the way I've always been. And I don't just start selling a little bit of dope. I had to go start selling a lot of dope, start moving pounds and stuff. And I just became a straight addict, you know. Just like I always said, I wouldn't be like my parents, and I ended up being just like them, you know. But I had my son. Even my son seen a lot of stuff go down, you know. But then started having more kids, and ended up finding my way to jail. That's how I got here.
You heard talk, I'm sure, of the RISE program. What were your thoughts about it when you were hearing that from your peers?
My initial thoughts? I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was a bunch of people that had never been through what I've been through. You know, how could they don't have no idea? But it was a reason to get out the pod. You know, that's why I originally started coming here. It was just a reason to get out, and then because everybody else is going out. You know, but then I have seen that you guys actually do care. You know, you don't find people like that actually care about you. So the more I kept going to the classes, the more I kept seeing like the effort that you guys put into us, you know. And I never even had that as a kid, you know. My parents didn't even put that effort into me. Nobody ever did, you know. And so it just made me want to keep trying, you know. It really like opened my eyes to that there is people that care, you know. A lot of people have another motive, but not with you guys, you know. It took me a long time to figure that out, though, you know. You listen to what we had to say, like just being in group and you listening to all of us drug addicts, you know, or people who had addictions, you know. You just show that you cared, you know. And you were just handling everything that we needed for us. In jail, you don't find people like that. People don't just try to help you, you know. You're more of like an inmate, you know. You guys actually treated us like humans, you know. And not just treated us like humans, but wanted to learn from us and try to help make us better, you know. My childhood, it was a lot of violence, you know. You got to put on not a front, but a guard, like how you said, you know. You never know who's trying to hurt you or trying to use you or get in, like, you know what I mean. And man, you guys helped me figure out like my fears, you know. Like anger comes from fear, is what you guys showed me. You guys showed me other ways to let that out and to figure out why I acted like that, you know. It came from a lot of it came from my abusive parents, you know, and not knowing what love was, not knowing, and just being afraid, you know, afraid of what's gonna happen next. But and then so that builds up into like my ego took control, you know, trying to protect me, you know. But you guys showed me that it was a lot deeper than just anger, you know.
CSG is the company that we work for. We're hired by the county to manage the jail. CSG is Correctional Solutions Group. The beauty of having this company is that it falls in line with modern philosophies for corrections nationwide, really. So one of the philosophies of Correctional Solutions Group is to make sure that people leave better than when they got to us. So we provide them opportunities to improve their lives, whether that's over a short 30-day period or whether they're with us for a year.
Yeah, I thought RISE was just a bunch of people coming here for a paycheck is what I thought. You know, counselors coming for a paycheck. Didn't have no idea what we were coming through or going through, you know. And over the time, I just seen all the time and effort you put in. Nobody puts that time and effort into you, you know. Willy Mae is like a parent to me, you know. She's like a mom to me. She's been through what I've been through, you know. It's more than just a job for you guys. You guys love us, you know. You guys want to see us. You guys love seeing the change that happens in us. You know, I mean, I trust you guys more than I trust anybody else. You know, more than I trust my own parents, you know, so it's crazy. Man, RISE, it saved my life, you know, it changed my life. It helped me figure out who I am, why I was the way I was, and how to be a better man. It's still showing me how to be a better man, you know, just the counseling, the talks, you know. It's life-changing.
RISE is my only backup.
Really? It's your only kind of...
My only resource when I leave this place. And I'm reliant on them here, and I'm going to be reliant on them when I leave.
Is this the
And I believe they're gonna help me.
Is this the first time in your life you found someone, or a force kind of trying to help you?
This is the only help that I've allowed to even help me.
Really?
Because it gave me more hope and faith that I can do it.
Dang, that's crazy. Why is it, what was it about the RISE program that allowed you to open up?
Well, actually seeing my daughter in here was a big thing for me. And them helping me through this, because they put me through a lot of emotions that I haven't dealt with yet. And I'm going through a lot right now, and I don't show it, but I have a lot of faith and hope because they've shown me differently. I'm very grateful and blessed for it.
What are some of the success stories you can recall? I worked with 2 folks from a high max unit, Alpha there. They have been released about a year ago. One of them has taken over their dad's company and has been keeping out of trouble. And the other one has been working at the oil fields in Hobbs, and making some really good money and being responsible and doing everything that he needs to do. I've had another folk who returned home back to Mescalero, and he quit drinking completely, and he's been just spending time with his family and working at the casino, keeping to himself. He's an older gentleman, and he reached out for me for support, and he calls every now and then, giving me updates on his success. In my work, I actually do reach out to them. We don't only just get their clothes or housing or anything. We can reach out to them up to a year to see how they're doing. And I already have established a lot of positive feedback from folks. They get jobs in the oil fields in New Mexico. They get jobs back at their old jobs that they were working at because they've shown that they're progressing in their programs and are willing to make a change. We get updates of them opening up their own businesses. We get updates of them attending school and graduating with their GED or college degrees. And not only that, I would really like to mention that those who even go to DOC, Department of Corrections for New Mexico, they even reach out for me from their prison that they're in and say, hey, I'm still continuing program because RISE was the foundation for that. Those who are in RISE have a better success rate upon release. Some may come back, but the recidivism is lower. And that's for all, overall, BIA or not. If you are in RISE, the recidivism is lower. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but it is lower. However, what the statistics also show is that those who are under BIA and are in RISE have the highest recidivism rate at Lincoln County Detention Center. We don't know if that's because of its own organization, but that's what the numbers show. But the numbers have a positive reflection on the RISE program itself.
You guys don't make us feel forgotten, and that's the worst. That's the worst feeling. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that, and I love you for that, Miss Willy Mae, for real.
This is how I describe it to kind of give you a better picture, is that I feel like I'm an archaeologist, for people. A lot of dirt has piled over hurt, pain, and trauma. And a lot of times with hurt, pain, and trauma, people respond negatively to those emotions, trying to cover it up, maybe shame, maybe guilt, or whatever it may be, and it gets covered up with dirt. Then they come to detention, they get in contact with RISE, and then we start digging. And finally, we get to that sweet spot to where we find artifacts, and we start working with that. And then from there, it just starts. It seems like the wind comes, it starts blowing the sand away, and then we start seeing things in a bigger picture, which is healing for the detainees here at LCDC. I think one of the basic premise as far as RISE staff is that we have to build a trust with them, because if they don't trust us, they're not going to open up to some of the stuff, and that takes time. So as we're doing groups, we're building maybe their confidence, or maybe their credibility, or maybe their trust with us, and we're able eventually to finally start cracking the egg, so to speak, and they start opening up. It's amazing how the groups have transformed from when I first got here to detention to now. Is the men, they get easily emotionally connected to themselves and talk about issues that they've never talked about before. The women are the same thing. And so we're really experiencing a dynamic part of the RISE program, to where people are starting to get reconnected with themselves, but also to find healing and to move forward. RISE means the opportunity to come into a detention center and to use my education, my license, my skills, my personal experiences, and bring it into detention. Because at one time, I was a hardcore drinker. I used to drink a lot, used to do drugs, criminal activities. What I did for myself is I had to learn how to do reentry stuff on my own. But I went back to college and I got my master's, and I learned how to put those puzzle pieces together. And then now I feel like I'm in a good spot, and I feel like I'm able to convey my personal experiences into my groups.
What was the most difficult part for you transitioning into the woman you are today?
Understanding myself. That was really that was what drove me to get a master's in counseling and psychology, is because I wanted to understand me. What was going on with me, with, trauma, hurt, pain, whatever, depression, even domestic violence. What was going on with me? Was I the root? Was it my fault? Did I do something wrong? And I was trying to figure that piece out. And when I went to college, I learned that it really wasn't my fault. But I had to rebuild myself and find balance in myself, and then understanding how to deal with life, and whether it's fair or unfair, learn how to deal with it, have those coping skills in place, and learn how to deal with it. But not only that, but model it for my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren, because somebody has to draw the line in a family. And I stepped up to the plate and I said, I'm going to draw the line. I'm done. We're going to do things differently. And that's what really, that's really what drives me, or that's what drove me to where I am today.
What dynamic do you think needs to change with our Native peoples, so that way more families have a similar story?
I think that we still need to teach the warrior spirit across the board. What I'd like to see for Mescalero community is I want to see a community wellness approach, to where we're not just only treating people in detention. What about the kids, the teenagers in high school or middle school? What about the elementary kids? Even we have to include the elderly people. And we need to, I know it's going to take years to do it, but I really feel that it can be done. I feel like we need to re-educate our people in the community to start learning how to empower themselves. And when you do that, then you can find balance and you can find peace within yourself. As I'm older, now I think about all the stories and songs my grandfather used to tell me. And one of the ones I tell in group is that, the Apache people, they were incarcerated and, sent to prisons, and men went one way and women and children went another way. But my grandfather was telling me, he said, You know, the people that were there in prison, what they would do is they would communicate with one another. This was before cell phones, telephone, all of that. He said they would communicate together is how they would connect is they would wake up early and they would pray to the morning star. That's the star in the east. And they would pray and they would sing songs. And he said, that's what got us through. And I think about that. And that was the connection that even though they were incarcerated, they were able to connect with and stay connected with one another. And I think that that's the basic premise of a warrior spirit, learning how to, even though you're in an adverse situation or housing or whatever, then learning some skills to keep you balanced and to keep you going forward. And that's profound for me, what my grandfather told me. We all have a spirit inside of us that I feel like we weren't born to become drug addicts or homeless or whatever, but we kind of adapted. We kind of just fell asleep at the wheel, so to speak. The warrior spirit is asleep because I think that we were designed to do things for ourselves and for others, but that just fell by the wayside. I think about my Mescalero Apache culture, and I think about how the Apache people have always had the warrior spirit, and they were willing to die for their families, for their values, for their beliefs. And now, now we're coming, my culture, we're kind of getting watered down too. And it seems like the culture is being pushed off to the side, and people are thinking more of, okay, drugs, alcohol, crime, whatever it may be, and our warrior spirit it's asleep. And here at the detention, we teach that, and we want people to breathe or wake up their warrior spirit and to say, okay, I want to step up. I want to be accountable. I want to be a man. I want to be a woman. I want to be a parent. Whatever it may be, and to step up to the plate. And really, the bottom line is to empower themselves, learn how to empower themselves, and so they can keep going forward in a good way.
What's really interesting, and I don't know if you're really aware of this, I'm sure you are, but when the people talk about you, the inmates, Jeremiah, they speak of you as this beacon of strength. I just wanted to let you know that because I could sense that too. Mm-hmm. And it seems like everything you're doing is great for this facility, as well as the reservation, mm-hmm. The Mescalero people.
Thank you for telling me that. This beacon of strength has been through a lot of repair and damage and everything, and I've always wondered about myself. It's like, why did you put me here, God? And it's been tough. I think that that's what people see from me, is that I'm not a fake. I'm not giving you, okay, open the textbook and we're giving you, this is what this author said. No, I'm giving you right here from my heart and from my head what I've learned and what I've gained, because my goal is I want them to get it. And when they get out these gates here, then they can start putting their lives together. That's what I want to give to them.
Because you were them.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best piece of advice that you could give to someone, your past self?
Don't put too much blame on yourself, because in the spiritual realm, you're talking about there's two worlds, and one of the ones is that here we're on earth. A lot of failures, mistakes, but also there are positive stuff. However, there's a spiritual realm over all of this here. And a lot of times I've operated like this, is that take blame. you suck, you're a failure, and I would tell myself that, even with this grant and everything. But I thought about it more, and I said, you know what, wait a minute. The RISE program is more than just a re-entry program, it's a spiritual program. And I cannot be accountable for the spiritual realm because I'm not aware of it. I don't know about it. But then I prayed the next morning and I said, God, you know what? You're in charge. I'm not in charge. You're in charge. You already knew this was going to happen. You're already going to open up doors and new opportunities for me. And we'll see where we're going to go from here going forward. I can act like a little kid, a 2-year-old, scream and hollering, having a temper tantrum fit. But what for? I'm going to be an adult and I'm going to trust you. And so that's how I was able to kind of like not take the blame. And because I'm used to putting myself down. But that's what I wanted to give to you, is that, where we blame ourselves harsh, but, in reality, there's a spiritual realm to all of this here too. So I feel like it's a spiritual program, not just re-entry, One of the things I know about prevention is that culture is a preventative factor. And so that's what I believe in. That's where that warrior spirit comes in, and keep on talking about it. That's how I feel.
Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, bihikaye, bihindare, guriyin, hinden, denden, jogo, hare, ka, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, bihikaye, bihindari, guriyin, hinden, denden, jogo, hare, ka, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge, 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 bashindaguye, bashindaguye, heyo, oh, hey, neya. Tilko saninge.